What's up, family, man? Welcome back to the Rundown. I'm your host, as always, Drew Johnson. If you're new to the show, make sure you guys are following us on all social media platforms at the platform DR. And you can find myself at Real News 102. Man, for those who have been liking and subscribing to the channel, I really appreciate it. It lets me know you guys are interested in the videos and the channel. And then when you subscribe, it helps the channel grow and reach new viewers. So if you're watching live or watching this over, make sure you're hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button, man. We're on week 7, dog. We're on week 7 right now. Definitely been having, I done had about 20 guests on, man, from different classes, from different areas, different media guys to give you guys different perspectives and the value that you deserve, you know what I mean? So we're just going to keep it rolling. I've been having 3 guests on, since week 0. But and tonight we're going to have 3, but one of them is going to be me, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to do a little bit of talking here to kick the show off. I want to recap some of these week 6 standouts, you know what I mean? There was some top performers that had some crazy stat lines that we'll talk about. So I'll definitely start off the show with that. And I want to talk about this 2026 quarterback class, man. We got to get real with this thing. This has to be the top quarterback class. Just talking to the OGs and other media guys in the area. This quarterback class 2026 in Florida has to be the best that we've seen in some time. So just from top to bottom, that I'll break down here just in just a second. So then we'll move on, man. We'll definitely bring on a powerful guest, my guy, right? Ben Spicer. Just a good friend of mine, a coworker of mine for DR7 and the platform, if you've been paying attention. He's also the producer for a well-known FSU fan site, War Chant. He's good with the camera, good with the pen, good with the mic, man. Jack of all trades. I'm just glad to have him on the show to give you guys the rundown of what he has going on. He's been covering that North Florida and that Georgia area, so he's definitely been getting his eyes on some kids that deserve the spotlight. We'll transition over to my man Martell, man. Telly, you know what I mean? Definitely been grinding in that Brevard County area. I've been watching him on Twitter, dog. Definitely deserves the spotlight for what he's been doing, right? He has his own media channel with Prmdmedia, spotlighting kids in that area. So he'll come on, give us the rundown, talk about some of the kids that's been standing out, some of the teams that's been standing out in that area as well. So shouts out to my guest that's coming on here soon. As again, man, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the channel before I kick this thing off. All right, let's get into it, man. So like I said, we're going to be talking about some of these week 6 standouts. Some crazy stat lines, man. We're going to kick it off with a 2027 running back out of Lely High School. Name's Nino Joseph, man. This kid, hey, before I even talk about what he did, let's talk about what Lely did, right? They had 90 points in this game, right? And Berrien College. Matter of fact, let me pull this up real quick, man. Lely, whatever. It's in Naples, man. They had 90 points, 90 to 56 versus Barron Collier. This kid, Nino Joseph, had over 400 rushing yards with 7 touchdowns, right? That's production. For a sophomore, that's video game type numbers, man. So shouts out to him. Shouts out to that team. But the defense has got to tighten up, right? There's a lot of offense in that game, but that kid deserves a spotlight for what he did. We're going to stay at the running backs, man. Amari Clemens out of Mariana High School. He had a standout game as well. 17 carries for 231 yards and 5 touchdowns. 1 through the air as well. He had 55 receiving yards and 1 touchdown through the air and a 55-21 win over Rutherford. I believe Mariana's undefeated right now, man. That's crazy for that team up there in North Florida. So shouts out to them in that area. We'll move over and stay in the North Florida area. Timothy Cole, man, at Rains High School. They beat Riverside 62-40. And he accounted for touchdowns in every way possible, man. This kid threw for 4 touchdowns, rushed for 2, and even caught a touchdown on a trick play. His ability to contribute for Reigns, it helped them pull it away. And he's just deserved the spotlight because if you go look at his numbers, he definitely has some of the top passing numbers in the 2027 class right now. And we're going to switch back to that Lely game, man, the Berrien Collar quarterback. I mentioned the Nino Joseph kid having 7 rushing touchdowns, but let's give a spotlight to Berrien Collar's quarterback. This cat, Brian Williams, this kid had, 8 touchdowns? Even 8. They lost, but hey, when you put up 8 touchdowns, you definitely deserve the spotlight. So he had over 350 all-purpose yards, and like I said, 8 touchdowns, man. He ran the ball, threw it through the air. I think he does it all for Barron Collier because I know they have a quarterback, and Nico Boyce, but I think he does it all. If they need him in the Wildcat to run the ball a little bit, they'll definitely give it to him. So shouts out to him. They didn't get the win, but to get 8 touchdowns is just at the prep level, you deserve the spotlight. Polk County kid, man, Levonsky Tubbs. I've been getting tagged by his kids. Somebody by this kid that's been trying to shout him out, but I go look at his numbers, and he actually does have good numbers. Ridge community shocking people right now in the Polk County area. I don't think anybody thought they would be. I think they're like 4-2 right now, but they're positive over there with Coach Tate. They beat George Jenkins this last week. Tubbs had 36 carries with 322 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's a workhorse for the Bolts, grinding out tough yards, just helping his team control the clock and getting them the wins. But really quick, just to wrap up that offense, I want to mention Dame Tompkins for the First Academy, another workhorse, right? He's been running hard for that team. He's showing why he's one of the country's most, or one of the state's most underrated backs. Go check out Dame Tompkins' stats and his film over his high school career, right? He did it before he got the First Academy with Lake Manola. He's a kid that's been running hard his whole entire career. Same with this kid, Uriah Maynard for East Ridge. I think they won a nail biter 16-13 against Celebration. He had over 200 rushing yards, and he scored the crucial 2 touchdowns. If he doesn't score those 2 touchdowns, they don't win. Shouts out to David Parks, man. This kid tagged me on Twitter. Definitely Mr. Do-It-All for the Seminoles, man. Parks showed off his all-around game. He caught 2 touchdown passes in Seminoles' blowout win. And one of them was a one-handed highlight grab, you know what I mean? So whether it's through the air, like I said, through the air, on the ground, or with his leg, man, Parks is do-it-all for that team. Michael Clayton is quarterback. Shouts out to him. Like I said, he had 2 receiving touchdowns. 2 came from Clayton. But he had 5 overall touchdowns. Clayton had 4 through the air and 1 on the ground. I could also shout out Kamani Robinson, too. Just a good bunch right there. Seminoles a tough team that's starting to come together. I'll wrap up the offensive side with Noah Grubbs, man. I got to shouts out to Lake Mary. They bounced back after 2 losses, and it starts with Noah Grubbs, man. He's the conductor of that offense. Had an electric first half. Did it all in the first half. He went 13 for 19 and with 245 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's, you know what I mean? That's 5 touchdowns in the first half. So Lake Mary's back to playing their brand of football, and Grubbs is definitely leading the charge. So to just wrap up these notable standouts, man, Michael McClinton. This dude is second in the nation right now with 134 tackles. You go look at his game last week. He piled up 22 tackles, 4 for a loss, and even booted a 74-yard punt. We got to check the film, man. I seen some people commenting on his total tackle numbers, but it's there, man. You go watch his film. He's a sideline to sideline type kid, high motor. He's been doing it for Kobe for the last couple of years. So don't sleep on the numbers, man. He's definitely a high production kid. Definitely want to shout out Lucas Lyons from Oviedo. He had over 13 tackles. And Rashad Johnson for South Sumter. This kid is a highly rated kid. Had 2 interceptions, including the pick 6 in South Sumter's win. You know, that's 2 straight games where he's taking the interception to the house. So he definitely deserves a spotlight over there at South Sumter. Some thought they would be, one of the top teams in the area. They took a few losses right now, but they definitely trying to get it back together. All right, that was a lot right there for the Week 6 standouts. Before I have my guy Ben Spicer coming on, I definitely told you guys I want to talk about this 2026 quarterback class really quick, man. I got to break it down because we put out a list. It's time to update it, right? It's definitely time to update it really quick. Starting off with Brady Hart, man. Brady Hart is leading the state right now in passing yards, of course, right? This kid's a monster over at Cocoa High School. Does it all for them. He's a traditional type quarterback, 6'4", 200 pounds, but he's one of the top guys. I don't know. It's conversations between him and my number 2 guy, Noah Grubbs. But I think Brady Hart, I don't know, man. I like Noah Grubbs too. Matter of fact, after watching him play Lakeland, he might be the top guy. Those are 1 or 2, but Diabell's for sure in that 3rd spot. He has over 1,600 passing yards. I think Darion Coleman at Jones is fighting for him, fighting that spot. They're both dual threat guys. He has Jones undefeated right now. He's 4-star kid. Committed to Miami, so I think Darion Coleman and Diabell, Texas commit, are fighting for that 3 or 4 spot. Shouts out to my guy Michael Clayton over at Edgewater High School. I kept letting people know, man, this kid was going to be the real deal, and he certainly is. He looked good in the offseason, and he only transitioned to the fall season. He moved over to Seminole High School. He has weapons all around, right? But he's a calm, composed kid, high IQ kid, and he knows how to use his weapons. Will Griffin over at Jesuit, still looking good. They're not doing as people thought they were going to do. I don't know if they're dealing with some injuries right now, but they're definitely dealing with youth. But he's still doing what he does. He's 6'3", 6'4", 225, Tim Tebow type build. So he's going to transition to the next level pretty well. Carter Emanuel over at Edgewater, they look good. Took a stumble early in the season, but they're putting it back together as well. And he's looking good. Shout out to my guy Joshua Perry, and running back, had him on the show. But it starts with Carter Emmanuel at quarterback. He looks really good. Joel Morris at Booker. He's still in that top 10. Looks good. That's my guy. Y'all know I've been watching him for the last 3 years. Has Ole Miss, has competed at some of the top Power 5 schools, but he's found his way at Booker now. They're also struggling too a little bit, but he's definitely progressing and looks like he can play at the next level. Shout out to my guy Dylan Rose Bailey, man. I gotta show some love to my guy. He's been doing his thing over at Wiregrass Ranch. They look really good. He has weapons as well, but he finally has a full season and a full coaching staff that believes in him, right? So he can do his thing. So he's been looking good. Caden Thomas over at Mitchell. Darion Jones, just had him over from Tampa Bay Tech. Looks good. Carter Quinn at Lely. Just told you guys they had 90 points. He was a standout as well. Jalen White, man, Clearwater High School, dual threat kid. Definitely deserves a look into that top 10 spot, working with Coach BJ. Got a chance to watch him on the bus tour as well. Rise Brush at Armwood, tough kid. They look good, man. Armwood is one of the top teams in the state. He has a big-time shoes to fill. Not the most flashy kid with his size, but he just gets it done. So I got to give him a shout-out. And Chance Houston, man, last kid, got to give him a shout-out as well. Been following him for some time. He just deserves it. A powerful arm, a deep ball kid that just deserves the spotlight. So, all right, man. I wanted to start the show off like that, guys. I haven't done enough talking myself. I've been having these guests on, but I wanted to shout out some of these kids that's been balling, and I wanted to talk about that 2026 class. But I got a guest waiting for you guys. I told you I got my guy Ben Spicer coming on, a good friend of mine, like I said, a coworker of mine. If you haven't been paying attention to the platform, you need to wake up, man. This guy does it all, from the pen to the mic to the camera, man. He's also a producer. I'm glad to have him on to hear his story and get the rundown on what he has going on. Been covering that North Florida and Georgia area. So let's have him on. Welcome to the show, everybody. Ben Spicer.
Hey, what's up, man? Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, brother. Nah, man. Like I told y'all, man, jack of all trades. My guy does it himself, right? But I wanted to have him on the show to give you guys the rundown, kind of on how he got into things, and a little bit of some of these standouts that's been in that North Florida area and that Georgia area. He's also been back and forth, getting his eyes on some Kentucky and Ohio kids as well. So he's been all over the country just to start off this fall season. That's what we do, right? Boots on the ground. But we got to start it off right, man. New guest, to the show. So I got to ask you, brother, give us the rundown a little bit on your come up, your background, and just how'd you get into sports media, brother?
Yeah, for sure. So just to start, I'll kind of make it quick. It was kind of by an accident. So I have both my parents worked in radio. Okay. So I always said that I would never work in radio. And first job out of college, I ended up working at a radio station, of course. Yeah. Funny how that works out. But my mom had a background in news. So when I was in college, I wanted to do news. I worked for the student newspaper, kind of got into video when I was younger, and then kind of figured out how to merge the two. But then, some things happened. I wanted to intern at a TV station. Didn't really like, the news aspect of it. So I kind of wanted to just veer into, just doing video stuff. So I'm in college, and I got an internship actually to do video production for the school. I went to the University of Louisville. Hell's up. Yeah. But I had gotten approved. Everything was worked out, and went to the internship director, and he says, "No, you can't do it. You haven't taken any video classes." So although I was self-taught, he didn't let me do it for whatever reason. So I ended up having to take some summer classes to be able to get caught up, with the video side of things. And I ended up in one of my favorite professors' classes. Shout out to Dr. Markle. And I came in, I must have looked mad or something, I red face or whatever. So I come into class, and he could tell something was wrong. So he kind of asked me what was wrong. It was a small class. It was like 6 people. So I kind of vented a little bit to him, and he's like, "Hey, you like sports, right?" And we had done a weekly sports show, terrible quality. But, kind of laid the groundwork, laid the foundation. It's funny to look back on. But he was kind of the guy behind the scenes that made that happen. So he knew that I liked sports. And he was like, "Well, I know the sports director at the TV station here in Louisville. Would that be something you're interested in?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So, I went and interned. They actually had me back for a second semester, and I just kind of fell in love with it. Started doing play-by-play around the same time for some obscure sports, I would say. I did volleyball. I did field hockey. I did softball, and I didn't know anything about any of those sports. So, I'm texting everyone I know, texting all the girls I know from high school that played volleyball. I'm like, help. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? I'm trying to learn. So that kind of segued me into doing the play-by-play. And then out of college, like I said, I got the radio job, announcing games, and also worked at a newspaper, kind of worked my way up through that, ended up getting a job in around my hometown area of Ashland, Kentucky, kind of doing like a digital TV station type role where I was the sports director, just covered a lot of sports in that area. And my mom actually passed away in 2020. She was a huge influence on my life and career. So around that time, I actually made the decision to leave the area I was in. I moved to Dallas, Texas on a whim. Didn't have a job when I went down there. And so I don't see how anyone could just not work, right? Like, it was driving me crazy to not have a job. So like every day I'm blowing people up, sending people my resume. And finally I got connected. I think it was on a Facebook group with a 7-on-7 company that DR7's CEO and founder, Jonathan Mumfrey, was with at the time. Kind of met him from there, and, things took off. The rest has been history with that. So it's been a fun journey. I've gotten to do a lot of cool things. Like I said, I've been in Kentucky, been in Ohio, been in Texas, now in Florida, go up to Georgia as well some. So it's been fun, man. It's been great. And, I love what I do, getting the chance to help these athletes get recognition and get exposure.
Ben, I want to ask you, bro. I don't think I ever did. Growing on that north and then the north side of the country, it's a lot of basketball going on.
Man.
What made you decide, like, hey, football, basketball, you know what I mean? I'm definitely covering a lot of football now, but I know you did that coming up in the games, just having to move around a little bit. But what made you kind of go towards the football route? Did you play football coming up, or what was it, brother?
So I'm a basketball guy. Like you said, I'm from Kentucky.
Guy.
We're a basketball state. So
talk about it.
I love basketball. So most of my friends growing up, we all played basketball. Nobody really played football. I mean, we'd play in the backyard and stuff. And I played football for a little while, but we ran the option. I'm not fast, so it didn't work out. But basketball, man, that's my one true love. Still to this day, I love basketball. I love to film basketball.
So really quick, so if they came out with a college basketball game, we'll be seeing Ben Spicer on the hoop side.
For sure. For sure, man. I love basketball. That's my one true love. So 7-on-7, well, that was like a foreign concept to me, man. Because like I said, So I mean, it was just something you did in the summer, kind of to gain reps. So like I said, my high school ran the option. A lot of teams were run heavy around where I'm from. So really, it was just kind of a BS fun thing that you did to, get reps and hang out with your friends and, try and build some team chemistry. But I didn't know there was like a competitive AAU type model for football. And, that kind of blew my mind. It still is crazy to me. So like I said, I'm just used to the basketball side of things, but it was cool seeing the 7-on-7. I love the 7-on-7. And, football, I think football has really grown on me. I love to film football. It's a lot of fun. So I think just being around it, and especially when I moved to Texas, like I had to embrace that football, So
no, for sure. No, I appreciate that, bro. Giving people the rundown. I know a little bit about your backstory, but I definitely want to let the people hear, right? Because you deserve it, man. He's a hard worker in the game. And like I said, he does it all, man. He's a jack of all trades. He has a lot of skills with the pen. He can write too, you know what I mean? But definitely he has the camera and the mic skills, as you can hear. And you can see his lighting, right? He's on me about the lighting, guys. I promise you I'm going to get it right. I got a light. I just forgot to turn it on. But I'm going to get the lighting right. I'm going to get the microphone right. My guy looks like, you know what I mean? He looks official, but that's Ben, right? All right, but let's get into it, man. Like I said, you've been moving through that North Florida and that Georgia area. You've been getting your eyes on a lot of these teams and players. So we're midway through the season now, so let's talk about it, man. Who are some of the standout players you had your eyes on, especially from – you can talk about some Kentucky, Ohio kids, but especially from that Florida, Georgia area, brother.
For sure. Yeah, I'll start in Ohio, actually, because this guy from Ironton, man, I can't sing his praises enough. Sean Terry II. He's a Missouri commit. People are going to know his name once he goes on to that level. But kid is insane. Like, I've seen a lot of really good athletes, but he just does things week in and week out that it's your jaw hits the floor. Like, he had a touchdown last week. They were playing a team from up in Canada. So a little backstory on that. Ironton was in a conference, and they got really good, and the conference kind of said, we don't want you anymore. So they kind of had to scramble and find teams that would play them. So they ended up getting Clarkson North, which is like the IMG Academy of Canada. And I mean, there were some
Wow.
huge kids on that team, man. So
Yeah, for real.
he's a two-way player. He plays DB and receiver, but I think he's a crazy special teams player. So he has a play where, I mean, he breaks probably 6 or 7 tackles on a punt return. It was in a moment when they really needed some life, a spark, and you know, he just does that. I got the chance to see him against Cabell Midland. It was a blowout for Ironton, but he made some plays, made it look really easy. I mean, he's just kind of like a human joystick type player, man. He finds a way to, you know, get it done in a phone booth. He'll make you miss. He'll make you look silly, and he'll have fun doing it and make it look good. So definitely got to give him a shout out. I wanted to mention him before I go into the Georgia and Florida prospects. I've been spending a lot of time in South Georgia. You know, I think I've only been to one Florida game. That's
kind of taking that area over, man. You know what I mean?
But yeah, South Georgia, and it's kind of in a weird area. You know, I feel like they don't get a lot of exposure, a lot of recognition. So it's worked out to been able to spotlight those kids. One kid I saw early on in the season up at Thomas County Central was Christian Deuce Lawrence. I've been sending you guys his offers as they roll in, and his recruitment has been on fire, man. And he deserves it. I mean, he's a humble kid.
From Arkansas,
picked up Arkansas. I think he just got Marshall as well. So he's kind of got a bunch of those group of 5, and now he's starting to get into the Power 5 offers. But he's a 2026, and he's another player like you just get the ball in his hands, and he's going to make plays. The first time I saw him, so he actually moved to Thomas County Central over the summer. So the first time I saw him, Thomas County Central won big. I think they played Monroe out of Georgia, and 5 different players had a rushing touchdown. So then I go back a couple weeks, and he solidified himself as the number 1 running back on the depth chart, right? Like he's getting the bulk of the carries, and he's making the most of it. I think he had 3 or 4 touchdowns in the game I saw. They were playing Florida High. Kid's just electric, man. I'm looking forward to seeing his continued development and where he's able to go. But that Arkansas offer, I think, was huge for him. That's going to continue to springboard his recruitment, man. I can't wait to see what he does. But just kind of speaking on his character a little bit, you know, I got the chance to talk to him. And, you know, he's new at Thomas County Central, like I said, and I interviewed him. I think it was after the 3rd game of the season, kind of talking about the transition and just his game in general. And he didn't, you know, put any praise on himself. You know, he was the first to say, oh, my trainer's been huge. The coaches have been big and helped me get adjusted in this move. My offensive line, my teammates, like there was no me at all with that. And he had every reason to hype himself up after the game he had. So I thought that said a lot about him. Next up, I want to talk about Lee County. Lee County 6-0. Unfortunately, they're not going to be playing this weekend. That game got rescheduled to next weekend.
Is that Lincoln?
No, Coffee. They got Coffee.
That's just Georgia. These are Georgia boys right here.
That's where I was going to go, but that's next week now.
Game, man.
So I will be in Florida this week. But Lee County, you look at Lee County, and the guy that obviously jumps off the page is their running back, Usman Chroma. Likely going to be a Georgia commit, but it's between Georgia, Florida State, Auburn at this point. If I had to bet on it, I'd probably say Georgia. I mean, come on. Why would you not go to Georgia at this point? But the quarterback, man, I saw the quarterback. So they're playing Colquitt County, and Colquitt's year in and year out of power. They're kind of young this year, but still they're a solid team. I think they're a 6A school in Georgia. And they're facing off in Weston Bryan, the quarterback, man. He's a Georgia Southern commit. But I think when it's all said and done, there might be some Power 5, Power 4 schools that come in later and, you know, kind of try and get on him, because I've seen the comparison like a couple times. Like this kid is Tim Tebow-esque, and you know you kind of see it in his game. I mean, he can throw the ball. He's not left-handed like Tebow was, but he can throw the ball, and he'll definitely make you pay. You know, he's one of those quarterbacks that he'll put his helmet down. He's not afraid of contact, doesn't shy away from it. So Georgia Southern, if he ends up staying there, they're going to get a steal in Weston Bryan. But man, he was really impressive to me. He didn't have to make a lot of throws in that game, but when he did, and his team needed him to, he came up big. So I'm looking forward to seeing him face Coffee. I know they're a very talented team. I haven't seen them yet, but they're 6-0. One of the favorites at Georgia as well, top 25 team. So we go from the top ranks, the 6A. Let's go down to 1A now.
Here we go.
2A. It's 2A, excuse me. Defending state champ. Defending state champ Pierce County, man. So their quarterback is quarterback heavy on these last 3. But
that's cool.
These guys have stood out for sure. You were talking about your top 26 quarterbacks, so
do your thing, brother.
But this guy's a senior as well, and he's not committed anywhere yet. I don't know if he has any offers, which is insane to me. That's Caden McGatha. We talked about it on the Under the Light show a couple weeks ago. Man, this kid, he rushed for over 2,000 yards and threw for over 2,000 yards last year from the quarterback position. Just finds a way to get it done. He had an insane state championship game. I think they went into a couple overtimes and ended up coming out on top. But, just finds a way to win. And I think that's the biggest thing that you're looking for, obviously, at that quarterback position. Was able to will his team to victory in the game that I saw him in against Brooks County. Looked like they were down, looked like they were out. He made some mistakes, but he bounced back. Was able to overcome that. And you talk about a dual threat guy. He's definitely got it. He made some impressive throws. I'd like to see, a little more from him throwing the ball. They don't really throw it a whole lot. It's kind of like Lee County, they'll run McGatha heavy, but when I saw him when he needed to make throws, he definitely stepped up. So he was very impressive. And I want to go to North Florida now. You were talking a little about some North Florida teams, but so this weekend, like I told you and Mark, I'm going to be checking out Gadsden County at Lincoln. Lincoln's 5-0. Gadsden County's 4-1. Their lone loss came to Coffee, and they actually led Coffee at halftime on the road up in Georgia. So both those teams have a lot of talented players. I'm excited to see them. Christian Sims is the Lincoln quarterback. We saw him on the DR7 circuit with Two Trill early season last year. So excited to see him in pads and on a Friday night. That'll be fun. And then Gadsden County has a quarterback. I think he's a 2027. He's got a couple Power 4 offers. Duke's one of them. So I'm drawing a blank on his name, but I'm excited to see him and what he's able to do. And both those teams have some guys around them too. So that'll be a lot of fun. But North Florida standout for sure. Lazarus Chambers. Me and you have talked and communicated on him. I really like him. He's a 2026. He's got some weapons around him. Couple really good 2027 receivers that have gotten some big time offers. But he's a dual threat guy. Saw him in action against Rickards. Now Godby has had kind of a rough season. I think they're got some new faces up front on the line of scrimmage. I know they have a new center. So that might have thrown them off a little bit. And they're still trying to figure out the running game, at least when I saw him beyond Chambers. But again, like he was, like Brian and McGatha, when his team needed him to make plays, he did. And I think that as he continues to grow, he's going to be one to watch too. I don't think he's really hit his stride and full potential, and definitely hasn't received that recruiting recognition yet, but it's coming. I think as he continues to grow, like he's one to watch for sure.
He's top 5. He's top 5 in passing yards right now for 2026. So he definitely got numbers.
He's put up some numbers. And you were talking about maybe he's right on that cusp, of that top 10 in the 2026 range.
I was asking you about him, man.
He's probably 11 or 12, if not in the top 10. I mean, you could make a case for him. Just like to see Godby have a little more team success. Obviously, that doesn't all fall on his shoulders, but I think that he's definitely a name to know in North Florida. And I really liked what I saw from him. I'm trying to get back and see him again later this year because he really impressed me. That was an early season game. I think that might have been the first game of the season for both of those teams. He looked good. I mean, he was crisp and in mid-season for him. So Lazarus Chambers, 2026, definitely get to know him.
Well, Ben, that was a task for you. I knew you would handle it well, though. My boy went from Ohio to Georgia to Florida, man. Definitely. Shouts out to those kids. That's what it's about, right? That's what we're here for, is to put the spotlights on these kids. And we're boots on the ground. He's not just looking at max prep stats. No, he's been to these states. And he's seen these teams and these players. And we've seen them in the offseason too, right? So it's great to double back on them and see them in pads just to give y'all that full evaluation, right? So shouts out to Ben. Definitely those players, I'll be putting up some highlights. If you're watching live, you'll be seeing it. So really quick, Ben, I want to ask you, man, with all the talent you have, like I said, you're good with the mic, you're good with the cam, and you're also good with the pen. People don't know they're sleeping on. What's your goal, man? What's your goal moving forward in this? You got any big plans or any big visions you have that you want to share? They say it's not good to tell people your plans, you know what I'm saying? But, just give the people a little bit of sauce of what you want to do in this game, bro.
For sure, yeah. So the dream, I would love to, one day announce college football games. I've had the chance to do that at the NAIA level. That's been some interesting experiences.
I didn't know that, you know what I mean? There we go.
I think I was 22, 23, and I announced the Kentucky Christian University football games. NAI. Shout out to the Knights. So that was pretty fun and interesting. But definitely want to do that. I've kind of gotten away from that a little bit. It's hard for me because, when you're announcing games, you have to pick between announcing the games or being on the sidelines filming. And I love both. So that's hard.
If we could find somebody that can, get that Ben sauce with the cam, hey, we could do these live streams at these DR7 events and put that live stream announcer element to it.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be a beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've done that before. Hopefully we can bring it back this year. I'm on them. I'm trying.
Well, I'll ask you about that next. They sleep at DR7. Don't sleep this year, but I'll ask them about that to wrap up. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
For sure. No, yeah, that's definitely the dream. But I mean, whether it's DR7 or wherever I ultimately end up, I just want to continue being able to help athletes. I think that's been a really fun part. I mentioned the job that I started earlier. When I first started my career, I kind of treated every sport as if it were football or basketball. I was giving love to cross country and, those kind of unsung sports that don't get a lot of recognition. So that was fun, to be able to spotlight athletes and, just get to share their stories. I think that's ultimately what I want to do, is just to be able to continue to share other people's stories and, their journeys, kind of like what you're doing here on the Rundown. So in some form or capacity, I'll definitely be doing that, moving forward because it's fun. It's what I enjoy doing. I never thought I would be doing it, but I guess it was kind of ingrained with me, with mom and dad and what they did. So could stay away from it.
Shouts out to moms, man, for sure, man. Hey, we definitely see it, right? You know what I mean? My boy got the voice, he got the look, you know what I mean? He's the guy. That'll come, right? That'll definitely come for him. Really quick, bro. Let's wrap up real quick, brother. I want to ask you, bro. 7v7 season's creeping up, bro. DR7, like we talked about the platform, year 2, we coming up. We pushing hard, bro. We got we had the new website. But we're doing something.
It came back today. I came back today,
but we're coming with some energy, bro. You know what I mean? Heading into this 7v7 year. What's your thoughts going into it? We got Mark and the crew, you know what I mean? And what should people be looking out for? We're doing a schedule release here coming up. There's going to be some new states we're trying to push to. But just let the people know a little bit, give people a little bit of insight on this DR7 season coming up.
Yeah, a little plug real quick. So Sunday night, this Sunday, it's October 6th, I believe, at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll have our DR7. You see it there on the shirt. We'll have the DR7 schedule reveal show. So we'll be announcing all of our locations that we have coming up. The Crown will be in a new spot this year, just a little tease. So that's fun. Maybe a little return to its roots. I don't know. I'm not going to say too much. But that's big. And then like you alluded to, we're going to be in 2 new locations, one in the Southwest and one in the Midwest too. So you guys can take your guesses there. I don't want to get too much away. You guys
don't do it. That Sunday's going to do it.
But I think it's going to be big, man. I think it's going to be big. I love what we're doing with the platform, what you're doing here with the Rundown. And I've got some big visions for what we can accomplish next year. I think from a competition standpoint, it's just going to get better and better as it has, since we started back in 2021. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to seeing these teams and these athletes again too. We're not just looking at the 18U; we go all the way down to 8U and spotlight the young pups. So. We're different in that aspect. I don't really know of any other circuit that does that. So
nobody doing
that's
that.
What separates us. And it's exciting. It's exciting too to see these kids, in 2021, I was checking out 12U, 10U and seeing those kids now that are freshmen in high school and watching them come up. I mean, it's been special. It's been fun to watch. So I kind of root for them a little bit. I try and watch the live streams and follow everyone. And it's a lot of fun to see them and watch their journeys from, when they were on 10U or 12U at DR7 now to being freshmen, sophomores in high school. That's been pretty cool. Probably the most rewarding aspect of it all is, just to be able to see them grow and get better.
That's what separates. I feel like that's what separates us, being in the recruitment space, right? Being able, when it comes to this evaluation process, a lot of people are ranking kids and doing this and that, but they don't really see them a lot, right?
Yeah.
But us being with DR7 and having the 7v7 space, we can catch kids at 12 years old, right? And we can watch them develop and have eyes on them for years when they're freshmen. Hey, we watched this kid, progress. And now we got the real evaluation on them, not just coming across, seeing a senior and trying to give the ranking on him and make money off of it, right? We got boots on the ground. And I feel like that's what separates us from a lot of scouting services. But all right, Ben, I had you on for some time, bro. Wrap us up really quick, bro. Let the people know where they can find you. Like I said, this guy's a jack of all trades. You'll be seeing him on the show again, but I definitely want to have him on this week to give you guys a rundown on a little bit on his come up. a little bit about his background a little bit. You know what I mean? Definitely didn't know some of those things. And the announcer thing too, right? So we got some news out of this. So but let the people know where they can find you at, man.
For sure. Yeah, I'm on Twitter or X or whatever it's called, B Spicer Media. And then on Instagram, B Spicer TV. I have TikTok too. I don't remember what it is. I think it's B Spicer TV. No, it's B Spice is nice. I don't really get on TikTok. I'm old, man. I just turned 30, so I'm not a big TikTok guy.
Maybe this season, man, we put some of those highlights on there, blow you up a little bit. Get
YouTube,
rich on
YouTube. I'm spiced up production, so I got the shirt here.
There it is.
Kind of what I do, you know, on the side. I do a little video work too. So that's where you can find me at if you want to give me a follow. If any prospective colleges are watching, they need a college football announcer. There you go.
Sam Houston. Right? Yeah, find them at Under the Lights too every Sunday. You can find both of us on Under the Lights with my guy Mark. We do a little recap on some of the standouts of some of the high schools every week. So, man, Ben, I really appreciate you for coming on, brother. Definitely want to have you on again. But yeah, for sure. Thanks for letting the people know where they can find you. I'll talk to you off the show, bro. But thanks, brother, for sure. Once again.
Yes, sir, man. Thanks for having me. Keep doing good work, man.
Much love, bro. For sure, brother. Hey, that's my dog right there, man, for sure. Definitely. Hey, we learned some things, you know what I mean? That's my guy, Ben, for sure. Like I said, jack of all trades. I'm going to say it one more time. Good with the mic, good with the cam. And y'all sleeping on the pin game. A boy can definitely write, too. So has a bright future in the game. But I got another guest waiting on you guys. Shouts out to Ben, but for sure, let's transition, man. Next up, we got a hustler in the game. You know what I mean? This guy has his own media, too, right? He's definitely doing his thing out there. He's grinding, putting a spotlight on some of the local talent in his area. He also has his own show too, man. It's called Please Respect My Decision. You know what I mean? So welcome to the rundown. Hey, my dog Telly, man. Definitely Martell, but we're gonna say Telly tonight, man. Shouts out to my dog Telly. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show.
What's up, man? What's up, brother?
Nah, man. I appreciate you for coming on, bro. Like I said, definitely been grinding, been noticing your posts on social media. You're doing your thing, man. It's putting the spotlight on these kids that deserve it. So, but we got to start things off right, bro. You're a new guest on the show. So we got to give the people a little rundown on your come up. You know what I mean? What was the main inspiration for you wanting to, you know, give kids a platform, and what kind of lit that fire for you, brother?
Bro, honestly, it all happened organically, but I wasn't even trying to do it for real, bro. Like it started as us just like trolling each other on Friday nights and before the week, like the days before the games, and we was just talking trash about teams who was gonna play and whatnot, and then it just ended up blowing up to something else, bro. And so that's kind of where like when I started saying please respect my decision, it was talking about kids, it was talking about transfer, you know.
Oh man. You know how that is.
Trolling for real, but man, it just all took off.
Yeah, really quick, I want to ask, because I gotta ask, man, what did you play ball coming up? You know what I mean? Like, how'd you get, you know what I'm saying?
My story a little different, bro. Like, I played.
Everybody got their own story, bro. You know what I mean? Everybody got their own story.
I played in 9th grade. I ended up dropping out of high school, went back, and I played in 12th grade too. You feel me? So that's really what my passion is, because I be trying to make sure that I tell the kids, like, bro, even if you don't make it in football, you can still be somebody, bro. You don't gotta, you know, I would like to see you make it in ball, but if you don't, you know what I'm saying, that ain't the end all be all. So
Was that inspiration? Like you said, that's the inspiration as well with this channel. I can relate, you know what I mean? Definitely. It ain't all about football, but man, if I can help, like I tell brothers, man, it ain't all about the D1 level, right? It ain't all about Power 5. If I can help you get to the next level without your mom having to pay for school, and you can get a scholarship, you know what I mean? You can help your parents, right? Whether it's D2 or D3. That's what I care about, you know what I mean? So is that something that you kind of share, that inspiration, brother? Talk about it.
Yeah, man. Like, I went to Mississippi Valley State after high school and whatnot. And I walked on, spent a little time there, and it was cool. And so I always try to like push kids in that direction, like, bro, you should go play here, you know what I'm saying? Or calling the coaches like, hey man, y'all should come look at these kids, you feel me? And so I've been doing all this for a long time, just not officially, you know what I'm saying? But
Okay, cool. All right, bet. Let me ask you, brother. Hold on, my bad. let's talk about some of these kids, man. I got it. Speaking of talent, man, you told me you've been focused on this Brevard County area, you know what I'm saying, for some time now, you know, which is one, I'm not really blind about this area, but you definitely got more knowledge about it for the kids and the teams that meet, man. So, you know, I know about the Cocoa High schools and a couple others, right? But let's talk about it. So, who are some of the schools that's standing out for you right now? You can talk about some of the standouts or any shockers, you know what I mean? Maybe some of the shocker teams that that's going on right now. Maybe we be on the downside if you want to talk about. So, what's some of these teams that you know what I mean? That's what's going on over there in Brevard County.
All right, so you know you got Cocoa, and I always say it's Cocoa, and then it's a Mississippi Mile, and then it's everybody else. You feel me? And I don't think it's as wide as a gap with everybody else as it is with Cocoa to everybody else. You see what I'm saying? And so right now, but it's a lot of little sleepers. Like I think Titusville is better than their record shows. They got a lot of young guys. They got Jamarion Stevens. They got Ralph Smith. They got Bill Jefferson. They got Tank Harvey at quarterback. But he's an athlete, so I would really like to see him in space with the ball. You know what I'm saying? Not under center and whatnot. But they got to do what they got to do. And so let me see who else is good. I think Heritage Panthers, they're better than their record shows. They had a hard start to the season. I think they do well. Tyrone doing this thing. Tyrone was the one that told me about you. He was like, man, just tag Drew every time you post something. And so shout out to Tyrone. He doing this thing at Rockledge.
Okay, bet. All right, so cool. Let me go ahead, brother.
As far as players, man, it's a bunch of kids. I really don't want
really quick. I can't let you start off without because Coach Franco just hit me up and told me you gotta mention Nick Teeter, dog. Talk about Nicholas Teeter, man. At Cocoa High School. Kid, you know what I mean? Talk about it.
If we would have talked about Coco like in depth, I would have brought him up. But I like Teeter. Like Teeter is good, bro. Like he the X factor on that team, bro. I really like Teeter. So, but I like what he like. He that man for real, bro. He just small, but he do his thing. He do his thing. He bring his hard hat in his lunchbox every week. So.
Yeah, is it all right? Go ahead, bro. Break it down though, because I want to know about some of these kids, these under the radar kids in your county, bro. I know some of them, but I want you to speak on them.
Under the radar kids that we got in the county. Let me see. You got Xadrian Smith. He's at Cocoa. You got like Bill Jefferson, like I said. You got Tank. Harvey, Delvonte Hunter, he's an athlete, an astronaut. He plays a little bit of everything for them. Yeah, he plays a little bit of everything for them. I think they're like 4-2 or 3-2 or something like that. So he over there doing his thing, but they kind of played a more independent schedule, but they in Coco's district, so you know how that's gonna go for them. But like I like them boys. I like what they're trying to do over there for real. There's a kid named Zion Thomas. He's in the 9th grade at Space Coast. He is gonna be tough when his time is his time, bro. He gonna be tough. Yeah. Who else do we got? Joseph Allen over at Egali. He's good.
Allen. Yeah.
Is
Melbourne Central Catholic over there?
Yeah, Brogan and Noah Flores and those guys.
I see the Brogan kid, man. I see the numbers. I see the dual threat kid on film. What's he look like in person, bro? You know, some of the kids be small.
No, he looked the part. He looked the part.
Okay,
I think he might end up being an athlete. Look, in college,
you might play a little slide or something. You know what I mean? If you have to.
I like it. I wouldn't be against it for him.
Wes Walker had to play a little quarterback. Then he played a little nice. You know what I mean? He had to transition.
Right. And they got another kid on their team named Howard Dewitt, and he's a running back.
That's slipping my head. I think I know who you're talking about, bro.
He's number 23.
I think I know who you're talking about, bro.
Yeah. Oh, also another X factor for Titusville is TJ Brothers. He comes to work every week.
I seen that. I seen that post. There you go. I seen that.
Yeah.
He like that. Is Titusville like that? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think they just playing a hard schedule. They got a lot of injuries right now with a extremely hard schedule. Like they played Egali real tough last week. They played Sanford Seminole this week. It's kind of crazy. They played Cocoa to open the season. They doing a lot.
How is Egali, man? I know they got a kid over there, the DB, I forgot his name, but they got some kids over there. Yeah. Are they good or what? What's going on with them?
They undefeated right now. Now. We should have beat them on Friday. Titusville should have beat them on Friday. But I ain't gonna get into the all that. But yeah, man, it was. I think that Big B's going to LSU, and so they got a couple of E-man. He played linebacker. They got a couple guys over there.
What about Rockledge, man? They 3-1. They look straight. People sleeping on Rockledge.
Is young, bro. Young, bro. Like I'm gonna give Rockledge. They just do. They got Jordan Woods over there. They got a couple other guys. What's his name? Mario Quindo, Elijah Floyd. Jay Mart's about to play his first game. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do over there.
Last team I gotta ask you about, man. 5-1, man. Merritt Island. You know what's going on with Merritt Island, dog?
So Merritt Island is an interesting team, bro. Like they really kind of interesting just how because they're in the district with Titusville, Egali, and Palm Bay Satellite, so they're the team that people don't actually focus on until it's time to realize that they really a threat. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it was the COVID year. They ended up at state, and like people just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? It was just luck of the draw that they just took off. But they ended up playing a Miami Central team that was outrageously talented. You know what I'm saying? So I expect big things from them. They played a couple of questionable teams, but I think they're all right.
Yeah. I seen them in the offseason. They had some guys running back. They look straight though. To be 5-1 though, definitely wanted to get them the spotlight. For sure. Let me ask you though, is there any games you were excited about, you know what I'm saying, moving forward through this season? You know what I mean? The end of the year, I know Coco played Rockledge in the barbecue game or whatever going on. I know they got some games going on out there.
All right. It's gonna be kind of interesting. I want to see what Rockledge, I want to see what Coco and Norland do this week. I know that's a heavy hitter this week. Big game. Okay. Franco got to bring his hard hat in his lunchbox this week.
I hope you're watching, Franco. I hope you're watching, brother.
But yeah, man, boy Franco, man, it's Coach Snyder, them boys. But yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that Coco Norland game. Huge I want to see Rockledge and Vero when they play. I think that'll be next week. Yeah. Melbourne has been better than I expected, so I want to see them and Egali play, and I want to see MCC, which is Melbourne Central Catholic, and Heritage at the end of the season because MCC just beat Vieira last week, 38-0. So I like to see. They only got about 35 kids, but they all coming to work. Like they want to play.
No, that's what it's about. But for sure, but let me ask you: we done talked about some of these kids. We done talked about some of these schools, man. Before we wrap up, like, what's the ultimate goal with your platform? Like I said, guys, he does have Prmdmedia on social media where he does share the spotlights on these kids. What's your goal, brother? Do you want to kind of use your connections to be kind of like a recruiter kind of service, or do you want to keep doing a scouting type thing where you're putting the spotlight on these kids? Just what's your goal, brother? I know what I'm saying.
I just want to kind of spotlight kids and bring attention to like to my county. We already get attention, but it's some kids that fly under the radar, and it's some kids that just never get spoken about. And coaches really, you know what I'm saying? Coaches really put me up on the game and make sure I know, oh, well, we got this kid. You should come check him out. Or you got this kid. You should come check him out, you know, all that. So I just want to keep spotlighting my city or my county. Like I said, I just ended up here. So I'm still learning the ropes of everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm open to everything, but still learning the ropes, kind of seeing how it all goes and everything. So I enjoy the process of it all. And man, we just working, man.
Yeah. No, you definitely got the biggest trait, which is the grind, right? Definitely see you grinding, brother, and you plugged in too. You know what I mean? So if you can use that grind and your networking skills, bro, it's gonna work, bro. I've been seeing you grinding for sure. So that's why I wanted to give you the spotlight to let people know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Definitely got your own show. You got your own platform where you give them the spotlight. Take it to the moon, bro. You know what I mean? Grab your camera.
I was sleeping.
You know what I mean? Get paid for this. You know what I mean? Don't change yourself. You feel me? If you grind,
I was sleeping on myself a little bit, bro. I just didn't know how I could really take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we just need brothers like ourselves to push each other. You know what I mean? If you see a spark in a brother like this, you know what I mean? You got to push them. You know what I mean? Don't be hating. Don't be none of that. Like I want to see everybody eat. So I see this brother grinding.
Some of the boys do be gatekeeping sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
sometimes
that's how I go in this game. You know, I could get talk. You know what I mean? But we'll do a little bit off camera.
Right.
There's definitely a lot of gatekeeping going on. But for sure, we definitely got to help the brothers. You know what I mean? If you see a brother, you got to help him. I don't care what it is. I'm locked in with that. So that's where it starts with that. But I definitely wanted to give you the platform, bro. But big thanks for you for coming on tonight. Much respect for what you do in the game.
I appreciate it.
We definitely align on. Many people don't know we don't do this for the money. You know what I mean? We align on doing this for the kids and doing this for the love of the game. You know what I mean? But for sure, I'm gonna support you along the way. Keep tagging the boy. I love you. You know what I mean? I definitely see it all.
I appreciate that, man. For real.
Let the people know where they can find you at on social media, and let the people know a little bit about your show, brother.
Man, so I got PRMD. We do weekly recaps and stuff like that. We do interviews with different coaches, different players. We spotlight former players, spotlight current players in Brevard County. We try to make sure that we get a little bit of everybody. So we still in the process of getting more and more people. We in week 6 of the interview process. So we had a couple good interviews on there, but you can find all of that on PRMD Media. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook and all of that. Just getting to it, man. We just working, right? That's all, man. I just appreciate you looking out for me, man, especially because it don't always happen like that. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, man.
No, the hard work gonna get notarized by somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get noticed by somebody.
For real, man.
Yeah, you can't care what people think. You just gotta put in the work, dog. And that's what I do. You know what I mean? This ain't got the biggest yet, but I'm telling, bro, I'm grinding so hard. This gonna get where it's supposed to be because I'm hungry. If you feel me, so I'm gonna just keep working just like you are, bro. So hey, man, big thanks to both Ben Spicer and my guy Telly for coming on tonight, man. We'll be keeping an eye on you guys' work. Continue to shine a light on these kids, man. Continue to keep working, brother. For sure, you know what I'm saying? There's some good talent out there in your area. And my guy Ben, he's covering that North Florida, Georgia area. So let's keep doing what we do. Thank y'all for tuning in to the rundown. Make sure y'all follow my guy, man. He's doing this thing right now. He's definitely coming up, has his own YouTube. So appreciate y'all. Catch y'all next time, man. Peace.